Time now for the Nick Hart Show, our weekly chat with the Gibson Southern Titans head football coach. The Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash is made possible by Brett's Car Care, Chips, Sell My Tees, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Daylight Land Management, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Hobb Range Hood Company, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hydorn Construction, Hilliard Lions, Matt Monroe, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Johnson Commercial Mowing, Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solman Photography, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Make Your Mark, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, MyTech Systems, Pole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating LLC, Sandy's Pizza, Schellers Carriage Inn, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, South Gibson Grain, 10 Barge Seed, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, Titan Youth Football League, United Fidelity Bank, at Mickle of Agrigold, and by Ziliac Enterprises. Now, the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
Welcome to the Nick Hart Show. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach of the Gibson Southern Titans, Nick Hart. And coach, your Titans are 8-2 on the season after defeating Salem on Friday night, 49-28 in the first round of the sectional. So let's take a look at the team and individual stats from the win for the Titans. Starting off here, looking at the number of plays, your Gibson Southern Titans dominated in the number of plays, 71 total plays in the ball game. Offensively, you had 432 yards, while Salem had 332 yards. Rushing yards, 211, and Salem had 232. So Salem, who was primarily a run-based ball club, had 232 yards of rushing. Passing yards, your Titans had 221. Salem had 100. Turnovers, had one turnover early in the ball game, an interception. And then also Salem had 3 turnovers that were huge and actually led to points for your ball club. So looking at the third down conversions, on that night you were 6 for 12, 50% on third down. And I know at this time of the year, as you start getting in deeper and deeper into the postseason, 6 out of 12 for your ball club is just not going to cut it.
Yeah, it's you like to see that number better. And again, we kind of talked about this. We were in some tough third down spots, so we got to do a better job on first and second down and put ourselves in a better chance to convert that and execute it.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the individual stats here. Brady Allen was 18 for 31, 221 yards. He did have 3 touchdowns and an interception. Rushing stats, Mitchell Spindler, another fantastic night, 27 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. Ben Butler stepping up in the rushing category, had 6 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. The little Energizer Bunny, Owen Bryant, comes in, 2 carries, 21 yards. Brady Allen had 4 carries for a -1 yard. So then looking at the receiving stats, Adam May had 7 receptions for 115 yards. Ben Butler had 3 receptions for 47 yards, and I should add that Adam May did have 2 touchdowns. Seth DeLong had 3 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown. Logan Murphin with 2 receptions for 18 yards. Caleb Sellers had a reception for 6 yards. And Mitchell Spindler ended with 2 receptions for 0 yards. Now flipping over to the defensive side here for the Titans. Max Beatles leading the way here, had 7 solo, 4 assists, and a tackle for loss along with an interception. Owen Bryant had 6 solo, 2 assists. Logan Maurer had some big plays on Friday night. He had 4 solo, 3 assists, a tackle for loss, and 2 sacks. Colton Stefanich had 4 solo and an assist, as well as an interception. Mitchell Spindler also had 4 solo. You can go up and down this line. Hey, defensive lineman Blake Stuckey with 3 solo, 3 assists, and a tackle for loss. So lots of guys contributing on the defensive side as well.
Yeah, that's what you got to do against an option football team. You got to play team defense. It can't be one guy making all the plays. And, I thought for the most part we did a really good job, and there's a lot of different guys stepping up and making big plays.
All right, so let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll get your overall thoughts from the playoff game concerning the offense, defense, and special teams. But right now, we need to thank the folks that make the Nick Hart Show possible on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Hilliard Lyons and Matt Monroe, Hydorn Construction, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobb Range Hood Company, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Daylight Land Management, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Chips, Sell My Tees, Brett's Car Care, and Matt Mickle of AgriGold. Looking for a job in agriculture? Then Wabash Valley College is the place for you. We have courses that can help prepare students for careers in farms and other ag-related occupations, including ag sales, marketing and mid-management positions, and ag suppliers. Our programs have great instructors to help you get to where you want to be. For more information, call WVC today at 618-262-8641 or visit www.iecc.edu/WVC.
Thank you for listening to 89.1 The Bash and the Nick Hart Show. All right, Coach, let's start with your thoughts first off with the offense.
At times really good, and I think that's what you can kind of say about our whole team right now. When we're kind of rolling, it's beautiful, in all 3 phases. But we're not rolling, all the time it seems like. But, Salem was a really good defense. They were giving up 14 points a game coming into the game. You put up 400-something yards, and, we had 49 points, but 14 came from our defense, so 35 points. And really, we didn't have the ball much in the fourth quarter because we were returning interceptions and they get the ball back. So, a productive night out of the offense. I still think we need to be more consistent in the way we play. We sputtered out of the gate there, which kind of seems to be a trend here the past couple of weeks. But sputtered out of the gate a little bit. But then I think we scored on 5 of our 6 possessions at the end of the second quarter into the third quarter. So when it's rolling, it's a thing of beauty. When it's not, it's not. We got to continue to try and get more consistent in our play. And obviously, the tougher opponents you play, the harder it gets. You can't make up. Some of the teams we played early in the year, you could have a holding penalty or something, and you could overcome it. And that was the one drive out of the 5 out of the 6 that we didn't score on. It was a holding penalty that kind of got us backed up and. Couldn't overcome it. So, mistakes like that, really set you back. But, they were a really tough defense. And, for the most part, maybe take out the first quarter. But in the second, third quarter, I thought our offense played, phenomenal.
All right. And, of course, that throughout that ball game, as most of the people listening to the Coach's Show tonight were listening to the game, or they were even at the game, because it was an excellent crowd at the ball game. What we'd want to look at, though, is the simple fact that it took a quarter and a half for both ball clubs. And I had said it live on the radio. I kind of felt that in that first quarter and a half, if you were just given the eye test, Salem was a dadgum good ball club, and they were on the field at that point in time the better of the two because they were moving the ball. And they just shot themselves in the foot, and we were able to take advantage of it with an interception. Then they put the ball on the ground one time. They recovered it, but it still led to the fact that they were going to have to punt. So it was one of those. It took a quarter and a half to get going, and hopefully the guys will realize here pretty quickly you don't have a quarter and a half to mess around when you get into the postseason because there's only 4 quarters. If you waste a quarter and a half, next thing you know, you're playing a quarter and a half of basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought our defense, obviously our defense kept us in the game early when the offense was struggling. And, I think if you just look at it, if we had played on offense in the first quarter the way we did in the second and third quarter, the way our defense was playing early, it's 21-0 or, 28-0 at that point. And they got to start throwing the ball and abandoning the option, and the game changes. If we had come out and executed a little bit better offensively, at the beginning. But again, a lot of that credit goes to Salem. They made a lot of good plays on defense and forced us into some stuff. And I thought our guys did a great job of continuing to battle, and we finally kind of got that momentum rolling. But right now it seems to be. We've always been really good on our opening drives, with the scripted plays and stuff, and we haven't been as good at that lately. So, I think we can do a better job as the staff, and getting our kids ready to go. I think that's the big thing is, getting out of the gate, because like you said, if we wait, a quarter and a half to start executing on offense this week, we're going to be in for a long night. So we got to do a better job of getting out of the gate on offense.
All right, so let's now talk over on the defensive side of things, because as you said, that first half, really, I'm telling you, it was a phenomenal job for the defense in the first half. They bent a little bit, but they didn't break, and then all of a sudden, it's like both defenses just decided, we're tired of carrying y'all, and that allowed to 14 points each. But, defensively there in the second half, I was a little disgruntled, and I think the fans would tell you I was a little disgruntled with the fact that we gave up some runs to the fullback going 65 yards, and then some runs where the quarterback runs in from 7 yards out when, man, we had three guys I thought that could have taken him down behind the line of scrimmage and scores a touchdown. But then they come through with the two interceptions, the two pick sixes, and that's – so they made me look like a fool later, but dadgum, don't let me get started, because I did have my doctor appointment. I know we talked about it. I did have a doctor appointment on Friday morning. He said all was good. I didn't go back on Saturday. So talk a little about your defense, Coach.
I thought they did a really good job for the most part. We gave up a couple big plays where we missed it, missed fits, and it wasn't missed assignments like it was early in the year. We just took bad angles. We had bad run fits in a couple of them. But, in sticking up for our defense a little bit too, we put, similar to the Southridge game, we put them in two bad spots again on Friday night. So, out of the 28 points, they had a short field off the interception return. They had a short field on the miscue on the punt snap. 28 of their – or 14 of their 28 points came off short fields. So, we got to do a little bit better job against the option. Obviously, we're going to see that again on Friday night. But I thought it was much improved, from where we were playing Heritage Hills the first time. I thought we did a much better job in how we covered it and stuff. Again, there's some better angles on our scrapes. I think would have helped us out a little bit. But again, a quarterback's a tough kid, a fullback's a tough kid. Their offensive line's really good. So it was a tough matchup, and I thought early they kept us in the game, and then they gave us the insurance there late with the pick sixes. So I thought they did a great job. We had that little middle part there where we gave up some big plays, because a big one, we score before half to make it 7-0. Then we turn the fullback loose, we miss the run fit. At 7-7, then we give them the short field, and it's 14-7. But then in the second half, we come out and we make it 28-14. That's the kind of thing we got control, and we just take a bad angle on a scrape, and their quarterback sticks his foot and gets vertical and makes it 28-21. So a couple of those big plays there, those were the two touchdown drives they had that weren't on a short field. If we execute a little bit better, we might have had a chance to kind of put them away a little bit. But proud of the way they made the plays at the end and were able to give us a separation.
All right. Of course, they did stick with it, so that's always, hey, they could always fold. They could have folded, but they didn't.
And I think another key thing too, in talking about sticking with it, we had a couple guys get banged up, and we expect to have them back this week, which is good. But a couple guys got banged up and knocked out of that game, and so that kind of changes. Logan Maurer comes in, a sophomore, plays huge for us, does a great job, makes a couple big sacks, and another tackle for a loss. And that bumps Sterling Stalker inside. So, he's playing a position he didn't have a ton of reps at. And then, we had to have some offensive guys come over and plug some gaps as Moskis got banged up a little bit on defense. So, and that was kind of in that middle part there. So really proud of how those guys kind of stepped up because, man, I tell you, in the NFL, it's hard to lose, starting guys. But in 3A football, it's really hard. And, the guys that, whether it was, Bri Vogel and McCray coming over from offense or, the sophomore Logan Maurer stepping up, those guys did a great job of stepping in and making plays.
All right, so let's go to the third and final phase now. Let's talk a little bit about special teams. And, 7 for 7 on extra points. Jake Novotny did a great job there. I thought the kickoff team, obviously we got kind of spoiled and used to those kickoffs inside the 5, even touchbacks, but very effective still. Because in typical high school football, if you can keep the return team inside the 35, it's hard to go 65 yards every time and score. But they were keeping them at the 30 and in. So I thought the kickoff team did a great job. The return team was there where it needed to be. Talk a little about your special teams.
Man, I thought our special teams were great. Other than the miscue we had on the punt team, our kickoff return team did a great job as they were kind of spraying the ball all over the place of getting us set up in good field position. Like you said, our kickoff team I thought was phenomenal the entire night. Coverage was great. And then our punt team I thought was great. Murph averaged, over 40 yards a punt. We did a great job in coverage on the punt team. Really, made all of our extra points. Really the only snafu, on the night, and it was a big one, was a miscue on the punt where we put our knee down on the snap and gave them a short field. But, overall, take that play away. I'm very happy with the way, our special teams played on Friday.
All right, well, Coach, we need to thank some of the supporters of the Nick Hart Show, and when we come back, we'll take a look around the Pocket Athletic Conference after Week 1 of the playoffs, and also get a look at Sectional 32 in Class 3A of the IHS AA State Playoffs. So as you are listening here to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1, The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Pro Rehab, Whole Concrete Construction, MyTech Systems, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Make Your Mark, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kathy Solman Photography, Julia's School of Dance, Johnson Commercial Mowing, and in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis.
You love sports. You're your team's ultimate fan. Why not turn that passion into the ultimate career? Enroll now in the brand new Sports Marketing and Media program at Wabash Valley College. Learn how to use digital video and other media to add to the fan experience, how to engage fans on social media, and how to create excitement by hosting events and promotions. Get off the sidelines and into the game. Find out more about the WVC Sports Marketing and Media program online at www.iecc.edu or by phone at 618-262-8641.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach of the Titans, Nick Hart. So, Coach, let's talk Pocket Athletic Conference scores. Starting off first here in round number 1, North Knox defeated South Spencer. North Knox puts up the double nickel, 55 to South Spencer's 21. Tough way for South Spencer to go out.
Yeah, they're going to continue to get better with Coach Edge. He does a great job, but rebuilding that program, they're going to continue to get better every single year.
And then Forest Park. In week number 9, it was Forest Park at Tell City, and Forest Park won with a shutout. Week 1 of the playoffs, Forest Park hosted Tell City, and they win 9-0. So for Tell City, that was 3 shutouts in a row. But I tell you what, that ball club has come a long way over the last couple of years. But Forest Park, victory in week number 1, and hey, let's see what happens in week number 2.
Yeah, that's a great win for Forest Park, and like you said, Tell City they had such a great year. Coach Clements really getting it rolling there. But Forest Park, it's a huge win. Guarantees them a winning season. And so just phenomenal. Coach Fuse over there, he's a great guy. Works really hard at it. So it's great to see them having the success that they're having, and hopefully it continues for them this week.
All right, and then also Linton defeated North Posey 51-0. Boy, what a buzzsaw for North Posey. I mean, taking on, first of all, Linton Stockton is very, very good year in and year out. And right now it's that time of year where Linton Stockton always wants to step up and show their best, as everyone does. But 51-0, North Posey took a defeat.
Yeah, Linton's a great program. They do a great job up there, and it's a really tough place to go play. It's supposed to be an amazing atmosphere. So, I thought maybe that one would be a little bit closer. But obviously Linton's a really tough opponent.
Well, and then in Class 3A, the only one that's not in Sectional 32 was Brown County defeated Pike Central 53-21, and I think Brown County might be the ball club in that sectional in order to come out of that sectional.
Yeah, with Pike Central, obviously they had a rough year, but I want to give their kids a lot of credit. They have a lot of young kids on that team, and playing a bunch of older, faster, stronger guys. That had to be tough. Every single week, and they came out every single week and played their hearts out. So I think those kids, deserve a lot of credit for sticking with it and coming out every Friday night and giving it everything they have.
All right, so let's get in now to Sectional 32, and starting in the bottom half of the bracket, Evansville Bossy, I believe, traveled to North Harrison. North Harrison, 36-7 victors over the Bulldogs from Bossy. North Harrison's now 4-5 or 5-5, somewhere in that vicinity. So right now, that's a good win for North Harrison. I know nothing about them, but Evansville Bossy is a ball club that they're going to come at you and play hard, and North Harrison does get the victory. Also in that lower part of the bracket, Mount Vernon lost to Southridge. Southridge said, you know what, we are not happy about what happened in Week 9, and they come out and defeated Mount Vernon 43-14. So that's going to set up in the semifinals this Friday night, Southridge hosting North Harrison. So Southridge will host North Harrison, and right now I would say that Southridge is probably the favorite.
Yeah, I think so. That North Harrison Bossy score is a little bit of a surprise. Bossy had played some teams in the SIAC really tough, and we saw North Harrison on film in preparation for Salem. They're in the same conference. North Harrison's a good ball club. But I thought Bossy, with the way they kind of played some teams in the SIC, would have had a good showing there. But and then Southridge, that's a great win for them in the PAC, and they got their quarterback back for that Mount Vernon game, and he's a difference maker. So they were tough to beat with their backup, and now they get their starter back. So they're obviously a great football team.
All right, and then, of course, we're going to look at the top half of Sectional 32, where we've already talked about how your Titans won 49-28 over Salem, but then Heritage Hills also defeated Corydon by the final score of 49-0, which is going to set us up with the final segment here, in which your ball club is going to host Heritage Hills. See, week number 6, I believe it was at Heritage Hills. Playoffs, everything on the line for the football season will be at Jack Jewell Field this Friday night. So right now, Coach, with that thought, there is one more segment to go, which means it's time to get the listeners ready for Friday night as your team prepares to tackle Heritage Hills for round 2 of sectional play. But first, let's thank some of the underwriters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Roberts Boring, Trenching, and Excavating, LLC, Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, South Gibson Grain, 10 Barge Seed, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, Titan Youth Football League, United Fidelity Bank, and by Ziliak Enterprises.
Are you considering getting a degree from a 4-year university? Well, did you know that by spending your first 2 years at a community college, you can not only receive a high-quality education with a transferable degree, but you can also save thousands on tuition? Illinois Eastern Community Colleges offers an exceptional value of education for transfer students. You can give us a call at 866-529-4322 or visit our website online at iecc.edu.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show right here on 89.1 The Bash, or you may be using the free app to access the show on your cell phone. So, Coach, week 2 of the postseason, your Titans will host Heritage Hills on Friday at 7 p.m., and we will have all the action live on 89.1 The Bash with pregame at 6:45 p.m. Heritage Hills enters with a 10-0 overall record. What do you expect to see from them this week? I mean, we've already talked about this once this year, but since that time, what have you seen out of Heritage Hills on offense?
They're really difficult to defend. I think when you look at their whole team, obviously they're well coached, but they are so senior laden, and I think that's they have good football players, obviously, but they have I think one junior that plays for them. Everybody else is a senior, so that makes teams really tough to beat. A lot of these guys have started for 2 or 3 years, and that experience and buy-in makes a team very difficult to beat, but offensively, it's the option deal. They've added a few wrinkles, since then. They've been trying to throw the ball and doing it well, in the past couple of weeks. So, that adds another element to it. But, if you're going to beat them, you got to find a way to try and stop the option, stop the veer, stop the midline, stop the Navy toss. Easier said than done. But I think that's what you got to try and do. And if they can beat you in other ways, you try and make them do that. But very difficult to defend. Wetzel kid at fullback is a load, and they're so good. They're really good up front, and obviously Sigler, is a tremendous player. At the quarterback position, and their wingbacks are really tough, but. You kind of know what you're going to get out of them. They always have a little wrinkle. It was a reverse, they got us on a reverse the last time and stuff, and you're always going to get that wrinkle. But the bread and butter is not going to change. They're going to run veer. They're going to run midline. They're going to run Navy toss. They're going to run quarterback sweep, counter. So, we just got to do a much better job of defending them than we did the last time. And, there's no magic, formula or something. We just got to execute better. We got to, play more physical, I think. I didn't think we were extremely physical with them the last time. So, that's kind of the challenge for us. There's no magic wand or anything. We got to, line up and play football. So, that's the goal. And, hopefully, we can do a better job of stopping them than we did the last time.
All right. So with that kind of thought there, I'm going to veer off my my game plan here just a little bit, because in that last ball game, it was a situation where in the third quarter, things had it had been a choppy kind of game so far offensively for your ball club. But you still yet had an opportunity to get within one score. And then there was the interception and then the fumble on consecutive drive opportunities to get you within one score. The defense had stepped up and shut them down in between those two, but the turnovers had snuck in. This week, looking at it, you're playing at home. These guys know that, hey, this is now for all the marbles. It's not week 6 anymore. You're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. So it's time to either put up or shut up, as I like to look at it. And, boy, I tell you, your ball club, while it took a 35-plus point beating back in week 6, they were within one score in that game. And then the wheels fell off the bus. This week, is it more getting them mentally ready to go or physically ready to go?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a combination of both. This time of the year, and you're already kind of banged up anyway. Physically, we don't want to hit, a ton in practice and stuff. So it's a lot of mental stuff. And but you're kind of right in what you said. We had some chances there. We missed a lot of run fits and alignment assignment type things against them the first time. If we can correct those and not make those mistakes on Friday. Again, I don't think you're going to shut them out or shut them down because they're too talented. But I think we can. After half, when we kind of fixed some of the things that we were doing wrong, Sigler burned us for 2 long touchdowns in the third quarter, and those were both. And obviously they executed and stuff, but we badly, either misplayed the option or misplayed a run fit on counter on those 2. So other than that, I think we made them punt twice in that second part. In the third quarter on two consecutive drives, we had 2 chances to cut it to 1 score. So we just gotta mentally, and like I kind of said when we played them the last time, they're good enough. We don't need to help them. We don't need to have alignment issues and assignment issues. Like, Wetzel's going to break some tackles, and Sigler's going to make you miss, and he's going to beat you the corner and stuff. Like, they're going to make plays. We can't help them make plays. And that's what I felt like in the first game. They definitely made plays, and they kicked our butts. We helped them make some plays defensively. A couple times we weren't even lined up right, pre-snap. So, a lot of those things, we just can't make those pre-snap mental alignment assignment issues because they're going to make plays because they're good. So we can't help them along in the process.
All right, Coach. Well, we've ran out of time here on this broadcast this evening. So anything else that you have this week?
Yeah, giving a shout out to our younger groups. JV finished the season undefeated. Our freshman team beat Jasper last week, so they went 6-2, and their 2 losses were to fresh soft teams. So they really went undefeated against other freshman teams. 8th grade only had 1 loss. 7th grade went 6-3. So it was a great year for all levels of football at Gibson Southern, and proud of our young guys and the way they played the whole year.
All right. Well, congrats to the young guys. But, hey, folks, Friday night at Jack Jewel, 7 o'clock. The gates will open, I would assume, around 6 p.m. So get out there early. I know you guys like to get out there early. And, hey, we'll be right here on 89.1 The Bash, so you can catch all of it on your cell phone or on the internet or on just the regular radio, listening to it in your car. But, Coach, good luck Friday night. We'll see you after the game on the post-game show, and best of luck to the players. We would like to thank all of you for joining us here on 89.1 The Bash for the Nick Hart Show. And be sure to catch us each week at 7 p.m. on Tuesday night for your look inside Gibson Southern Titans football. But before we sign off, we would like to thank all of the supporters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show has been brought to you by Ziliak Enterprises, United Fidelity Bank, Titan Youth Football League, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, Tin Barge Seed, South Gibson Grain, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Sandy's Pizza, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating LLC, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, by Pro Rehab, Pole Concrete Construction, MyTech Systems, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Make Your Mark, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kathy Solman Photography, Julia's School of Dance, Johnson Commercial Mowing, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Hilliard Lyons, Matt Monroe, Hydorn Construction, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hob Range Hood Company, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Daylight Land Management, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Chips Sell My Teas, Brett's Car Care, and Matt Mickle of AgriGold. The Nick Hart Show is a special production of 89.1 The Bash and the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department.